Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Covers. Between the Covers, I hear you say. What does that mean? Why is the show called Between the Covers? Well, Between the Covers is all about investigating and exploring the author journey between the covers of creating a book. People who know me and people who've been following me for a while know that I'm an absolute book fanatic, and I think it's so important to share with people, hey there, to share with people the process of not just writing a book, but publishing a book. Those real kind of nuts and bolts that go behind the actual product itself. So if you're watching for the first time, my name is Daniela Blechner. I'm an author, book journey mentor, founder of a company called Conscious Dreams Publishing. We work with authors from all over the world to help them to get their powerful messages and stories out there in the form of professional books. I'm absolutely passionate about providing a platform for unseen, unheard authors so that they can educate, inspire, and empower for generations to come. So in this broadcast and on this show, I interview authors. So whether they're published through Conscious Dreams Publishing or whether they've gone the self-publishing route, or maybe they've even been traditionally published, I think it's really important to learn about the different aspects of each of those journeys. So not only do I interview authors, I interview people who are, hey Dee, nice to see you. Dee, by the way, I'm going to give her a big shout out. She has, I think it's a biannual event called the Black Bookcase. I don't know why I can't speak today. The Black Bookcase, where she showcases authors and their books from all over the world, online and in person as well. Awesome events. So not only do we interview authors, we interview industry experts within the field, so you can understand the process of editing, the whole PR campaign that goes into publishing a book and promoting a book, people who promote books, people who market books. So all different people along those different facets of the journey. So without any further ado, I'm interviewing, I don't really understand, somebody's put something up on LinkedIn, not quite sure what that means. So I'm interviewing someone who is new to our platform called Pelena Cosme. She has self-published her own book or series of books called Exploring London with Ama and Neri. Not only are they just books, they are also activity books as well. So I'm going to bring her into the broadcast, both on LinkedIn and on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube, all at the same time. So bear with me as she comes into the broadcast. Please do tap the screen, show some love, let us know where you're watching from. Are you an author? Are you an aspiring author? If you have any questions, please do throw those questions up. That would be amazing. Okay. Hey, Pelena, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. If you're watching, please let us know if our sound is okay, first of all. And please do share this out if you find this of worth and value as well. So please let us know if you can hear us. That would be amazing and very helpful for this broadcast. Obviously, hey, John, nice to see you. So, Pelena, you are a published author. Tell us a little bit about you, first of all, and what inspired you to write the book.
Let me start with what inspired me to write the book first. I'm a mother, first and foremost, and my daughters inspired me to write the book. They are Ama and Neri, and just the adventures that we were going on. I'm quite an extrovert. I love being anywhere but my house. My mom's always cussing me, so I'm always out, but I love it. That's how I get inspired. That's how I just learn. So when I had the two girls, 18 months apart, I was like, wow, I can't just be in the house all the time. I really want to just kind of parent within my personality, keep my personality going, help me stay just sane and as a mom. And we started having adventures, and I'd put it on WhatsApp stories. And all friends and family would ask, where is that place? Where is this place? I'd let them know. And lo and behold, I'm kind of an unofficial tourist guide, just doing my thing, traveling around London with the girls. And that was the inspiration for the book, really based on our real life adventures.
Amazing. So you've got two children, 18 months apart. Wow. Yeah. How old are they?
They're 6 and 4 now.
6 and 4. Wow. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your book. Did you publish Exploring London with Ama and Neri first, or were there other books before that? Tell us about the sort of journey to publishing.
First book, first complete book. I don't know, I think I'm really proud of it because I've always admired entrepreneurs and business people, but my personality naturally, I've got a corporate personality. Um, I love power dressing. I love being in the workplace. So, but I always admired entrepreneurs. I'm like, they must have two heads. I can't do something, have an idea in here and just kind of have it tangibly. And it's funny that the books, only after when I published it, I was like, hey, you're like an entrepreneur. You created your own book, your idea, you've seen the process from beginning to end. You've done it. It's a product. You're talking about pricing and marketing and profit and bottom line and all these terms. So it's really funny how the girls and becoming a mother and actually doing something inspired by them also helped me fulfill my lifelong dream of being an entrepreneur and having my own business and product. So it's just multifaceted and those levels. Yeah.
Wow. And definitely writing a book is a business. I always say to people, if you've got a book, you've got a business because it's a product and there's so many other things that can come off of that. So that must have been quite a huge learning curve, especially as you sort of undertook this by yourself. So what made you decide to go the self-publishing route?
I didn't want to. Who doesn't want to be published? But my main motivation for being published with a publishing house was the team, the support, because again, this was all, out of my depth. I thought at the beginning. So yeah, I applied and submitted to 100 literary agents and publishing houses. So yeah, that was the intention. Please, God, no, let me not act like I was trying to do that. So I submitted, but I didn't get the decision that I wanted. So I thought, let me just do it myself then. Maybe that's just a sign that I need to just kind of empower myself and just keep it going.
So did you try to go the sort of traditional publishing route first? So obviously writing your query letter, trying to get an agent, they try and get you a deal. Yeah, that's definitely tough. So there is a middle ground, which is hybrid publishing. So people like myself help people to self-publish their books. But it's amazing that you navigated that own journey yourself and you didn't give up. And I think that's so important. And that's what I did with my first book in 2014, which led me to go on to do this. So tell us a little bit about the journey then. What was your first step and what was that kind of epiphany moment where you realized this isn't quite working with getting a traditional publisher, I'm going to do it myself? What was that epiphany moment for you?
It was my friend actually who said, try 100. If you haven't sent it to 100 people, you haven't you haven't tried. So that was where the number came from. But so it's 100 agents and publishers, not 100 each.
Wow.
So yeah.
Let's stop there. 100 agents and publishers. That is determination.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was 100 altogether.
Altogether, okay, fine. I was going to say, but still, that's determination.
Can knock you out for 6. So, and obviously, I'm still a mom and I'm still new to this. But I thought 100, so around 50 odd each. Just let them know who I was. Put together a proposal. I had the illustrations quite early on as well. Manuscript quite early on. I always loved rhyming books because I guess I thought I always admired writers who rhyme. I think you're a bit clever to get the rhythm, to get just the words to rhyme. So I thought, let me challenge myself. So I made it rhyme. So I had a manuscript, had some early illustrations, and kind of sent it out. But the feedback wasn't a lot of feedback. But the ones that I did get was actually sometimes it's good just to send a manuscript so that the publishing house can kind of envision the characters, the scene. Yeah. So there's so many differing sort of opinions, but I'm glad I did send it the way it was, because I think the illustrator, he's what makes the book. It's so vibrant, it's so colourful, and that's the feedback that I always get. But yeah, the epiphany moment was when I just thought, actually, I've got a really talented illustrator. I've sent my friends to kind of look over do the copy editing and help me out. Let me just go for it. And kind of fulfill that business dream, empower myself, show the girls I'm doing this. You know, a book is immortal, a book is forever. So once I had it in print in my hand, it's mine and it's there. So that was the epiphany moment. I just thought, it's not that deep. There's a lot of people who want to publish books, and I mean, just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. I love that. Hashtag not that deep. Hashtag just do it. Exactly. But it is. I love the fact that you said, I've come this far. And it was the same for me in my journey. It's like, I've come this far. People have seen it. I've spoken about it. I've got these illustrations. Why am I going to allow this no to stop me from actually doing what I've dreamt of doing anyway? So we've got Justina on. Big up, Justina. Awesome artist. If you ever need illustrations, check her out on Facebook, Justina Justar. D Bailey's on. Faye, nice to see you. Hello. Hey there. Faye's on Instagram and on Facebook. Hey. So you had this epiphany moment where you just thought, right, I've come this far. I'm going to continue on this way. Talk to us a little bit about the illustration journey, because I think people, they look at children's books and they don't necessarily know the blood, sweat and tears that go into actually creating those illustrations and actually making them match the vision that you have. So how easy or challenging was that journey in itself? And did you have a clear vision? Hey there, King Pedroism. Oh, she says she's proud of you. So tell us a little bit about that journey of, getting those illustrations and allowing them to, you're sharing on both platforms. Thank you so much, Faye. We love you. That journey of illustrating your vision, how easy or difficult was that? Hey, Tom.
It was challenging. Shout out to Rashid because he's dope, and I'm a complex person as well. So yeah, it was definitely challenging. I trusted him. He came highly recommended from a mutual friend. So I definitely trusted his vision. I didn't really I gave him the pictures of the girls, I gave him the manuscript, and I kind of let him do his thing. He hadn't really done books before, though he's a really accomplished illustrator, a graphic designer, animator. He's absolutely great. So just in terms of the books, we definitely, had to have conversations. It's just in terms of, he's so vibrant. The detail is impeccable. And the illustrations in the book, they've even been stripped down in terms of detail, the shades, the shadows, just the detail, the intricacies of his illustrations and his art is phenomenal. But for the book, I kind of needed him to just do a bit less, just so, because of the demographic, of course, as well. Like I'll say 8 and under for the book. And then just to think about where the text would go, because the whole book, the page would be filled with just the detail, really, really great stuff. If I show you sort of an unedited original illustration and then the ones with the text, you'll see how much has been taken out. So that was definitely sort of ongoing conversations. But he got the vision. I think he just executed it down to a T. The messages late at night, the randomness, oversight on my part. He's so gracious. So you really have to find someone who can really understand. And it was my first book as well. So obviously I would go back on a lot of things myself. And then I had a great graphic designer, Darlington, who's just amazing. Again, just as patient. When I'm like,
give us the names again. I love kind of giving a platform for people who with talent to. Can you share with us the names of these amazing people that you worked with?
I will do. I'll send the links definitely. Maybe afterwards, or I'll give it to you. I can't do 2 things.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, no, they're great. I mean, I think I'm following them on my page. So maybe I think it's RYZ Creative and DAS2 King on Instagram.
Shout out.
Yeah, so I feel bad that it's just sort of my name at the front of the book. It definitely, it should have just been curated by Pelena, but it wasn't just Pelena. Friends who did.
I think it's got both of hasn't it got your name and the illustrator's name on the front?
Yeah, of course, an illustrator. We haven't got Darlington's name, and all my friends who kind of helped me along the way. Did the first early.
There's not enough room on the front cover for that. Acknowledgement page. You've got an acknowledgement page, right?
I know, because I didn't see any acknowledgement page like on the kids' book. I always see it sort of like an adult book. But maybe for this book I will, because it's definitely not just me. That's the, and that's with everything. And I think what made me stop doing books earlier or any sort of business was the whole erroneous thinking that it's you by yourself. It's got to be this sort of one woman, one person band, and it never is. Anything creative, any products, anything you see, it rarely is. It rarely is. You know, even like someone like Ed Sheeran who sings and plays. Someone's doing a lighting, someone's doing a this. It's never all the greats, Michael Rosen, you know, Mallory Blackman. There's a team behind it, and they're, I guess, the face. They're the driving force, spearheading it, but it's always a team. So for those who want to do books or other products, there's always a team. You know, find a team.
That is that is so important, and I just want to press that even more. It's never a one man, one woman band ever. All great things are created with a team. What's that motto? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. And like, you know, publishing a book is the greatest example. It's never just one person. There's a whole team of people behind actually creating that product, from the graphic designer to the typesetter who's doing the layout, to the illustrator, to the author, to the person marketing the book, promoting the book, everything. So thank you so much for just giving some really good insight on that. We've got a couple of comments. Justina says, thanks, Danny. Love your shows as always. Yay. Good morning, Tom. Nice to see you. Good evening, Faye. Greetings, Dee. If anyone has any questions, please do throw them up, whether you're watching on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. Please do. So if you are joining, if you have just joined, my name is Daniela Blechner. You're watching Between the Covers, and I'm interviewing the awesome and amazing Pelena Cosme, who has written Exploring London with Ama and Neri, based on her 2 children, 18 months apart, people. You heard that here first, 18 months apart. And she published a book featuring their children. MX Lux says, my kids love the book. That's amazing. I think it's so important for young people to see characters and images and stories that represent them. You know, myself as someone of mixed heritage, I never saw any books that contain characters that look like myself. So how important do you think diversity is when it comes to especially children's literature, and do you think it needs to be changed at all?
The importance can't be understated. I think it's like a buzzword now, representation, but I like the way the Centre for Primary, for Literacy in Primary Education, CLP, I like the way they put it. I like the way they put it. They call the report Reflecting Reality. I think that's all it is. You know, if you want to exchange, imagine it's a synonym. Reflecting reality is what it is. And it's a shame that their report said that only 7% of books published in the UK have kind of, I don't like the term minority ethnic, because
me too,
and, you know, other races, you know, especially when primary school kids make up 33.5% of
5%,
so it's like 7%, 33.5%, and there's no shortage of authors. That's not the problem. So what is the problem?
Definitely not.
And then you find that, you know, the Publishers Association says that books and publishing is the biggest export in the UK. Like the publishing industry is the biggest export. You know, it makes like 6 billion a year. So again, the UK is exporting books all over the world. There's a lot of books emanating from the UK to international level, but again, the reflections are not reflecting the reality. So yeah, it's very important. I mean, I grew up in the 90s here, fringes of London, and yeah, I didn't see any books that had anyone that looked like me either. And I definitely had issues with my identity in terms of what I wished I was, what I wished I looked like, you know, from my skin color, sound of my voice, my big eyes, whatever it was. So I think books, and I loved books. We had a mobile library that would come over, and I would read books. I would read like 10 books a week. You know, I was reading from the young sort of stuff, early phonics, to when I was going on to my Goosebumps, Sweet Valley High, Nancy Drew days. I would read those books in days. I loved books. You know, I would swallow them up. And it's a shame that nothing reflected myself. I didn't let that get to me. I was still a creative, still loved stories and good stories. And you can't deny some of these books are great stories too. But I know books that had more, you know, that reflected reality more would have also been amazing books about culture, about, you know, different heritage, different places, different, you know, just the differences that we see. Like, it's not like we're just talking about space and something that we can't ascribe to and see intangible. We're seeing this. As soon as I leave my house, I'm seeing families and people from all over the world, you know. So yeah, so that's a shame on our part. But I'm glad that it's being seen and recognized, and big publishing houses are doing things about it, and independent bookshops are doing something about it. We need to put these books somewhere, and they're being, you know, they're really facilitating having people like myself, self-published authors, come in without the big machine, without the industry. I just go in there. I'll go with the girls. That's a tip. If you have kids and the books about them, go in with the kids. The kids, they love the kids, you know.
Yeah.
You can't say no to the kids.
They sell the book, right?
But it's really great that it's the whole industry, you know, and that includes self-publishing. The independent industry is helping self-published authors like myself. So even those who are logged in, who aren't necessarily doing books, I love the fact that industries are now being more accepting that not everyone's going to come from one route. There's no one way to get your book on a bookshelf. There's actually amazing ways now. Ebooks, audiobooks. There's such great variety. So it's definitely something that's achievable. And we need more stories. You know, nothing's ever too random. You can write a book about anything. And like I said, it's immortal. It will be around forever.
Thank you. I mean, I've just met Pelena today. We've been speaking for a while, but I love the fact that you've self-published this book by yourself. You've gone down the DIY route. You've learned, it seems like you've learned so much along the way. And not only have you learned the process, getting a lot of love here on Instagram, not only have you learned the process of publishing and creating a product that is going to be accessible and viable for people to actually buy and enjoy, but you've actually done your research. You know, a lot of authors don't do their research. The fact that you know about the CLPE and the statistics, 7% of background characters in children's fiction are, I don't ascribe to the term BAME anymore because it assumes that we're all of one. Anything outside of the Caucasian race is just lumped into one. But only 7% of characters in children's fiction are minority characters. And this also is true in the sense of featuring children with different abilities or different, you know, disabilities even as well. It transcends across so many different facets, not just race or color. It's so many different, you know, ways that we can express diversity. And like you say, I'm a real fan of the term reflecting realities, you know, and I think that this is an important part. I'd love for us to get to a point in the publishing industry where something isn't seen as cultural or a black book or a bit pigeonholed. It's just a book featuring children from all over the world with different abilities, capabilities, different backgrounds, different faiths, different races, and it's just what it is. You know, we reflect in reality in its grand splendor. So Justina says, good points, Pelena. Real talk. We've got another real talk here. Clapping hands here. Someone here says, Style says, very inspiring. Struggling to read the comments on Instagram, but someone says that their kids are obsessed with it. It's great for people from the diaspora. The mobile library. Talk to us about the mobile. Oh, hold on. I've been trying to do more with my children since reading the book. Amazing. So your book is about exploring London. So what was that one of your messages or one of your reasons for that title or publishing that? Was it to get children to explore and look outside of their immediate catchment area a little bit more? What was your thinking behind that?
Absolutely. It was, so as I was exploring, I didn't see as many Black and other ethnic minority families in certain spaces. Let me put that disclaimer. In certain spaces. And again, remember, I was exploring based on my character, my personality. The girls had no choice, especially when they were younger. It's like, you coming with me. I want to go to the gallery. I want to go to the zoo because I grew up scared of animals. So I thought, you know what, I don't want the girls to be scared of animals. Let's go to the zoo. So we went to the zoo twice. We went to those different farms. And obviously they're young. I was more scared than them. Like if I see a chicken coming near me, I don't know what it's gonna do. I was such a big scaredy cat. So motherhood really pushed
You
me.
just went for you, really, didn't you?
But yeah, so when we went to the zoo, went to farms, weekends, summertime, the sort of the black families, Asian families, other minority ethnic families were missing at times. And I wondered why. And then I came across some research by the Edelman Intelligence. I think it said that 60 odd percent of black families don't go out or explore as much as their white counterparts. There was just such a, I don't remember the figures offhand, but yeah, there was a big difference between who's going out and about, and this is even to the local park. So yeah, when I saw that, I was thinking, wow, why aren't black families and other families exploring as much, even in terms of the gallery and going to a museum and stuff? Black families are coming in last. It's white, Asian, and then I think mixed, and then sort of black families last. I'm like, why aren't we exploring as much? And when I got a bit of press, like a BBC Radio, they asked me the same reasons. Okay, so why aren't black families exploring that much? And I said, I don't know. I think it's just different in culture and maybe what's the word? Priorities. Because perhaps it is that, I don't know, from 10 and under, it's about studies, it's about really helping the kids be citizens of tomorrow in sort of a home setting, making sure they're able to do the bits that they need to do. Whereas other cultures perhaps are wanting them to be a balance or just to be out and about because you learn. The Edelman Intelligence didn't give the reasons why, they just gave the numbers in terms of, black families are not out and about as much. And the minority ethnics, again, I hate that vain term as well, so I won't use it. The black and other families aren't out as much as the Caucasian and their white counterparts. And it also said that maximum security prisoners have more outdoor play than some kids in the UK. I'm like, what's going on? Why are we all up in the house? But look, there's technological issues, technology.
This is
back in the day, my mum used to beg us, like, she couldn't stop us from leaving the house. Now we're trying to get the kids out, but they've got the PlayStations, they've got the phones, they've got all these.
It's so different. It's so different. First of all, I just want to say I love how you think. You're very similar in the sense that, for me, research is so important. If you're giving a message, what is the percentage of people? Why am I writing this? And the fact that you've shared something with me that I didn't even know. And actually, probably after this interview, I'm going to go and research this myself, and find out why are we not exploring
the proper numbers. But yeah, I think research. I think you have to know the industry you're in. Even though this wasn't my industry to begin with, I've got a law degree, but I wanted to do it justice. I wanted to see what opinions are great, but statistics and data are there for a reason. So yeah.
100%. And you said something else as well about technology. You've got a question here. We'll come to that question in a second. But you made a really good point. I mean, I grew up in the 80s where everything was outside, literally, unless I was not allowed out. But everything, I always found a way out. Don't you worry, back door. But everything was staying out.
Friends.
Listen, they're not on. So it was about being out. We didn't have phones. You went outside, and whoever was out was out. You'd knock on people's doors. And so for me, most of my childhood that I remember was outside. And now, like you say, we have this great challenge of a lot of the times kids don't want to go out. I work in a school, and I'd say, how's your summer holidays? Oh, I couldn't wait to get back to school. Yeah, but you're always complaining when you're here. Yeah, but I was stuck indoors. And so I do agree with you. There is a real issue with actually getting our young people outside and exploring the world. Starting with London it's a great place to start.
And don't get me wrong, like, it's, for want of a better term, it's long to go out with kids, right? You've got to pack lunches, you've got spare clothes. London now, they don't want they don't want me to drive anymore in London. But I've got 2 kids. I'm not trying to be up and down on the train and have them noise and disturb all the other citizens of London. I want to be my private car, get in the centre without you, Les, park for not an exorbitant fee, explore and come back home. As much as I love TFL, shout out to TFL. But, you know, it is long. It's a long process. Getting up, you can't. I have to leave at 2 p.m. because that's when they start getting tired and cranky. So I have to leave earlier. I got to pack stuff.
That's when I start getting tired and cranky.
We've got to take backpacks that they eventually then want to discard. So I'm now holding 3 bags. It is a long process, don't get me wrong. But once we're out and we're in the middle of that park, that gallery, and they're seeing stuff, they're like, Mommy, can we draw? And can we have our art on the wall? I'm like, sure, of course you can. And then we come back and we draw and they put their stuff on the wall. It's doing something. It's educational. Yes, I'm going to teach them how to cook, clean and whatever. But I want them to be able to be citizens of tomorrow as well. Be streetwise, how to navigate these London streets. Know what an Oyster card is. Know you got to stand on the left-hand side because everyone's busy in London. We ain't got time to stand in the middle of the escalator and just have everyone kind of come tumbling down. I want them to learn the skills, see different cultures and opportunities. Yes, we're here, this is our home, our private home, but I want you to see the reality that's out there and be able to communicate and navigate with people from different cultures. That's also why books are important, reflecting reality, because kids will get accustomed to seeing people of different abilities, different colors. It won't be such a, ooh, wow, look, Mummy, that person is yellow, pink, whatever they say in their youthful kind of color spectrum. You know, so I think both things are important, and it's good for your mental health. It's good to be inspired. It's good to go out. You know, I'm in a small London flat. These girls literally bounce off the walls. If I don't even just go out to the shop for a bit, they'll just eventually, the energy, it just gets too much of a crescendo. So I'm like, we need to leave. Let's go to the park. Let's just get out of the house. So it's a good balance as well. And it doesn't matter what you do, different spectrums. If you're into fashion, go out there, see what people are wearing. You can't see that just from the laptop screen. Go out, see the texture, see the things. If you're into art, whatever it is, sculptures, whatever it is, landscape gardeners, go and see how they're trimming and keeping these things. You have to be out and about to see. You know, Google Street View ain't gonna do it, and just the computer screen ain't gonna do it. You need to be sometimes out here. And for those introverts, I get that. I have to do every 2 weeks, every month, we'll do like a special family day. And if the kids are old enough, kind of just go through the internet, find something that everyone loves, and then kind of plan. So it's not a frequent thing. So there's different ways of doing that. But yeah, I just think it's really important to explore your surroundings. London's my surroundings. We've been to other cities around the UK as well. But
there's so much here in London. I find that Londoners, I think I found out recently, definitely in my 20s, I started to make friends with people outside of London. So I started to do different things. I remember doing a kids camp and I met different people from like Manchester and this place and that place. It's like, oh, wow. Yeah. And they could tell me more about London than I could. I'm like, Dad, I live here. I've never been to the Tower of London, have now people. But they had been here. It made me realise how much is actually on our doorstep. And I absolutely love your passion. And as you were speaking, I don't know how you feel about this, but I can imagine you running some kind of event with your book, like a travelling kind of event with different parents and children exploring London. Something to think about.
I've said that a lot.
Put some more stuff on your shoulders.
Thank you so much.
You do. You'll be amazing. If Pelena did a trip where maybe like a ticketed trip, everyone would buy a copy of the book, maybe hire a coach, and you do like some kind of trip around London. Who would be interested? Because I think this would be an amazing thing for you. I just want to put that out there. So you've got a couple of things here. Faye says it's great and important that you can show your children there's more opportunities than just the 4 walls of a flat or the local area. Love that picture, Faye. Totally agree. You've got a couple of questions here on Instagram. Someone says, what was the most difficult part of the artistic process?
Just self-belief, confidence. Because again, you're like, I'm not an established publisher. I haven't got this big sort of publishing company behind me. It's just little old me with this idea, but you can't knock your ideas out, you know. To be honest, I was like, let me just print one book, have the girls see it, they say, well done, Mummy, that's us, woohoo, read it to them. And that would have been satisfying. It's not about numbers and fame and fortune, it's about I actually did it. Something in here, I can now hold it in my hand. I can hold it.
And your children, look at that book. Hold the book up for us, please.
It's weird.
Can you hold it up so we can see it properly? So can you hold it up so we can see it? Look at that book. Look how cute that is. Oh.
So yeah, that was the main thing. That was what was difficult. You know, sometimes the naysayers are the thought committee in your head. So that was difficult. But you know, I had people around me that were like, please, come on, do it. You've got this far, it's great, it's yours. No one can take the idea from you. And again, when you get away from numbers and all of those kind of things, it's like, actually, this is a good process for me, myself. It's really empowering. But yeah, it was difficult.
And it's absolutely amazing that your children have got books featuring them. Yeah. That's amazing in itself. Can I ask you, what are you doing to promote and market your book?
So, as much as I love research, I was able to be honest with myself in terms of my strengths and my weaknesses. Mm-hmm. So I did some courses on PR, public speaking, media interviews, copyright, I went webinars for IP. I really wanted to make sure I knew sort of the beginning to the end in terms of the industry. So I wanted to do things obviously online, definitely, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. But then I thought, actually, let's go back to basics of media. Offline is also good, especially for grandparents. Other people want to buy the book for their grandkids. I printed flyers, contacted local press, you know, contacted BBC, was able to have an interview with them, The Voice newspaper, you know, international as well, people, different organizations and bookshops and their feeds and their networks. So I probably sent around 500 emails in terms of trying to release the book. And
man, listen, I absolutely love your attitudes and your get up and go and your will, because so many people, they publish a book and they think that's the end of it. But you've done your research. You don't understand. I'm so passionate about this. You've done your research beforehand. You've pushed, you've kept on being determined, you've written your letters to agents, to publishers. That didn't work out. You've navigated your way through the self-publishing process. You learned about PR, you educated yourself, you went and done, you know, webinars, you got press coverage. That's amazing. You're a model of what, you know, it is to actually successfully publish something, and not just successfully publish something, but actually to have a vision for the book, you know. So that's just, I'm really, I just love to see it, because it's not always something that you come across. So you meet people, they publish a book, it's like, what are you doing? It's like, nothing. It's like, no. So that's brilliant. I do think you should do this trip though.
Okay.
Maybe do a few readings of the book on your Instagram.
Yeah, so you guys keep me
accountable. Do you know what else you could do? So I'm just tracking some stuff out here. I know we're in the middle of an interview, but I'm just seeing some things. So you could maybe interview different people who are maybe working in different places in London, maybe someone who works at the zoo, read a little bit of the book, maybe get your kids involved, and speak to somebody who works at, I don't know, many kids places, I don't know, another kids activity centre. There's so much you could do with it. I'm actually excited about it. So we've got somebody else. Someone saying, do you want each book to stand on its own, or are you trying to build a body of work with connection between each book you publish? Great question.
Yeah, there's definitely a connection. So the activity book, I was going to make it a normal plain activity book, but then it was around Christmas time, so I kind of made it like a Christmas festive activity book, but it still got links to the first book. So it will ask questions at the back about the first book. I don't know how many animals, what animals did you see? So it does still try to keep educational, but then it's got the difference and colouring pages in it. Definitely try to keep a connection. Actually got the new book coming out next month as well, the second part of the series, so that can be pre-ordered now on my website.
And what is your website? Let's put it into the chat. What's your website?
We've got exploringlondonbook.com.
There you go, www.exploringlondonbook.com. I'm going to put that up right now. So don't do it now. Earmark this for later, please. Go to this website and you can get a copy of not just the book, but the activity books as well. Where can people find you and find your book? Apart from the website.
website. They can find it on Amazon, and amazing independent bookstores. Who can I think of out loud? Book Giant,
Angel Miller.
Black Star Books. Oh, Peters. There's so many. No Ordinary Books. They're the ones that make me feel like an author. When they like, yeah, we'd love to stock your book, or we've heard about it. Can we stock your book? Um, our kids Shrove, just so many amazing, independent, passionate people about books, about reflective reality, about just the power of books. There's power in the books. Like my kids know, I go berserk when they ruin a book through using it and playing and kind of reading it, and they don't put it back and they think it's trampled, and I go absolutely bananas. That's just them. Books are important. Books are
I've still got all my books when I was a kid in this drawer right here.
Treat books properly, like read it, put it back. You have to really treat it well. The process behind it, they can't just be trying. That's why book burning is such a big no-no in all cultures. You can't do that because books are really powerful. They're really important, and that's someone's work. That's someone's art. So yeah, the independent bookstores, they make it amazing. But obviously, shout out to the big guys. My books in foils, online, Waterstones, Amazon. I know there's a big sort of debate about Amazon independent, but they're there. And to be honest, on that note, to counteract that, I made sure the books were available to independent bookshops first, and I made Amazon wait. So shout out to Amazon.
I want to kind of chip up. I want to follow on from that actually, because it was Angel Miller from No Ordinary Bookstore who actually put me in contact with you. Big up No Ordinary Bookstore. If you are a children's author, Black author, please do contact her. She will stock your book, and you can actually it will be on the website and people can buy it. Also, do connect with Dee Bailey, who's just been watching on Facebook. She's got something called the Black Bookcase, which is where I met Angel Miller actually, when we were allowed to meet up in Luton. We all had stalls, we had speaking opportunities. I know she does this now online. You'd be fantastic for it. So if anyone is watching, and if you are looking to give a platform, whether it's through interviews, podcasts, whether it's through exhibitions, stalls, events, speaking engagements, working with young people, please do get in contact with Pelena, and check out exploringlondonbook.com. There's so much to be had here, and I'm just a believer that when you have a team around you, and when you are creating something and you're really doing it from passion and with a what's the word am I looking for? Intention behind what it is that you're doing, then you attract the right people. So if you are watching and you want to get involved and you can see a little gap here for a collaboration, I'm still going on about this coach trip. It's stuck in my mind. I can see it. I'm going to bug you till it happens. So please do connect with Pelena. Can you just let us know one more time before we wrap up, how can people contact you?
Yeah, so the website, www.exploringlondonbook, Instagram at Exploring London Book, Facebook at Exploring London Book, and Twitter Exploring, then LDNBK. So yeah.
Lovely. Last question. What would you say to somebody who had sent off their manuscript to 50 publishers and agents and got a firm no, and were just thinking, oh, is this good enough? Should I bother? What would you say to them?
I would say to them, you need to talk yourself up. You need to say, I should bother because someone wants to hear my story, my voice. And I would say you then weigh up whether you think you can do it alone or go for Conscious Dreams Publishing.
Or anyone else, yeah.
Just be like honest to yourself in terms of, because I'm smiling and it's cute now, but at the time it was a lot of work. It's not right. It's not sexy, and the marketing part is harder than putting the book together.
Yeah,
because you're tired from putting the book together, and then you're still halfway up the mountain. You now have to do the marketing, which the main thing is no point doing a book and no one knows about it. No one knows it exists. So that was harder. So I'm like, okay, then I've done it. Yay, book. I'm like, oh, I've got to send emails. I've got to be out here on these streets and let people know and just always promote. So it's like another hurdle. So it's not cute. But going, waltz into the, post office with the girls, posting books, best feeling. Or people telling me, I want to meet Ama and Neri. I can't believe they're real people, because I guess they're so used to characters being fictional. Like I'm I'm meant to meet so many kids because they want to meet Ama and Neri because they can't believe they're real. That's what's amazing. So whatever your end goal is, do it. And the amazing author Michael Rosen said the story doesn't end when the book, the story doesn't end after the book. It's how it affects your life. And that's what I want Exploring London with Ama and Neri to do. I want Black families, other minority families to be out here in London. Show Black love, show Black kids, show your kids what the city that you're raising them in looks like. Help them feel a sense of belonging. I used to think London was just Canary Wharf and for a certain type of people, but it's not. Like, the London is for everyone, and if we raise our kids here, we've got a right to be here, and just give them that pride that I'm a Londoner, but I'm also African, I'm also Caribbean, I'm also of Asian descent, but this is where we are. This is where we've chosen to be. So get to know our cities, especially if there's like a disconnect or not a strong connection with our, the countries that we do, or the heritage that we do subscribe to. So that's the aim of the book. Show Black love, show Black families, show your kids what's out there, help them understand that they're Londoners just as much as the heritage and the background that they are. And you feel comfortable as well, mom and dad, this is your city too, we are what make London London. London wouldn't be the way it was if it was just not as diverse and as the reality that we see. It wouldn't be one of the greatest cities.
100%.
I don't believe that for a second. We, the people, and the diversity, the fact that we've got Carnival, the fact that we've got Shoreditch and Brick Lane, and we've also got Brixton, that's what makes London London, and Greenwich, and the people that make up these boroughs and these areas. And you're part of it. You talking to you, you're part of it. So that's what the aim of the book is. So yeah, I hope you guys are empowered.
It has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. It really has. Like, you just got such a clear vision, and I can just see you doing many, many more interviews. And that coach trip, I'm sorry, I've seen it now. It's got to be done. You only see something.
Yeah.
2 meter distance.
We used to all
get an open top bus,
bikes, taxi, and
no. I want coach, and the coach is going to say Exploring London. And they're going to do this, spot the difference on the coach, and they're going to have, your lunch on the coach, and they're going to listen. I'm all over it. So anyway, with that, thank you so much. You've been amazing. And please do, if you are watching, check out, follow Exploring London Book on Facebook, www.exploringlondonbook.com for a signed copy of the book. It's the summer holidays coming up. The kids are going to have a lot of time on their hands. Things are open. Please do encourage your children. Well, get them out into the open, on these trips while they can, and encourage them to read, most definitely Exploring London with Ama and Neri. It's been absolutely fantastic speaking with you. Please join us for next week's show, Between the Covers, 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST. I'm going to be interviewing the awesome and amazing Julia Dunrod, who is the founder of Lily Translates. She actually does translations, so she'll translate your books. They'll translate your books into different languages, children's books, as well as audiobooks, and we're going to be partnering with her very, very soon and adding a new service to our company where we'll be helping people to or providing a service where you can have your book narrated by different characters or by yourself. Children's books, this is, and translated into different languages as well. So please do tune in next week, 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and what's the other one? Instagram. It's been awesome and amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.